So this is from my second novel, and thank you, Mike, for coming. Thank you, Wayne and Tim, and thank you for everybody for being here, because this is great. All right, you ready, Mom? It was late morning when the phone call rang, just before the marker reached the half-day signifier on the chronometer. It was early for our protagonist, whom we know only as Bastard, not the Bastard, who suffered from a chronic condition, in truth, one of many, that disabled him from getting out of bed before the time of one major mark after the aforementioned half-day signifier signified its signification. Aside from this early start, the day thus far had flowered like any other day flowers, at least in relation to the flowers that had dayed since Bastard's reincarnation. For, it may as well be noted now, the preceding days represented here are of Bastard's second life. Note not necessarily significant, except that, in his previous life, Bastard had never paid attention to day flowers, nor their flowering. Seated, he stared at the tidy surface of his desk, which was never cluttered with papers, nor with anything else for that matter, because he had not much, and even less, papers. As a recently professionalized private detective, he had yet to land any work. Maybe I should hire a new office, he thought as he engaged in a routine act of mindless eye-casting across the top of his desk. Then he sat up and sipped at a cup that contained within an ever-depleting amount of absinthe warmed-down equal parts liquid coffee. In the midst of this habitual meditative idleness, the telephone began to ring. No one had ever called him before. He nearly jumped at the sensory perception of the abrasive, unheimlich sound, taken aback, confused, slent nervous by the ring, 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 ring beat. Ring, 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 ring. Like a match of sulfur, the sound sent an intense but brief sparkle sputter of shock that begat a befuddled speechlessness, becoming a bewildered surprise, then burning a blaze that cohered as a baffled stupefaction, lingering as such, finally frozen in form fixedly before dissipating into smoke within Bastard's living wooden corpse. He threw his eyes around the room, scanning the place for any clues as to where this noise was coming from and what meaning it bore. After the device proffered 5 or 6 series of rings, the machine-activated automatic answering machine communicated to the caller something about Bastard's present unavailability, which, of course, was not true, in fact, anything but, for, as we know, he was not only present, but also had absolutely nothing to do. Then the small talking box emitted a single harsh beep, whereupon it captured and reproduced a man's voice, spitting it out for Bastard to hear, plain and clear. Amazing device, he thought to himself. Ignoring the voice, he strolled over to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, pulled out a sandwich, unwrapped the glass sheet he had utilized to preserve the prepared consummation's freshness, having made the delectable gustatory item earlier that year, which was comprised of thin but durable whole wheat paper bread, sour vinegar-soaked wheatgrass, 7-year-old foot-stomped mashed gooseberries, pigeon wing twig bones with marinated cat tail in flounder bile, smacked and hand-torn salvia divinorum, thinly diced, as well as pressed dinosaur shallots, purple-orange peels braised for 2.5 seconds with a plaid corduroy lysergic acid dressing, and wrapped in paper mache. He tossed the glass cover into a garbage bag in his bathroom that was full of garbage that he would never throw away, took 2 bites of his sandwich and flushed it down the toilet. He pooped in the sink while brushing his teeth in the bath, dried himself off with a few half-threes of shoes, and, resuming his place at his desk, adopted a sense of sophistication in order to press a blinking light button on the machine, which said, "Bastard, it's me. Meet me at our usual spot, soon as you can." He recognized the voice immediately, even though it was one he had not heard in many, many circles. The The Sir Chronometer on the wall looked at him and said, 11:40:50 PhD. Give me 15, I'll be there prior, he noised into the phone at the circle keeper. As Bastard gathered his things in preparation to leave, I decided to accompany him, and then I did. It was a sunny day in the city, very cloudy. He exited the building and crossed the street, his eyes lowering from the sky below to the street above, between which he tasted a billboard advertisement splattered upon one of the new condominiums, one of many that were ejaculating all over the city at that time. Rent your brain! The billboard shouted in the black letters on a yellow background, and in quieter print below, 1,000 balls per week, painless and risk-free, call now. Below, a telephone number, and even quieter. We promise not to sell any private or personal information without first drawing your blood. The sign attributed itself to a company called Free Enterprise 999. He didn't break step, just kept walking. So this is an ellipse. I have to skip a couple chapters here because this is part of the story, and you'll be more interested if I read this. On his way back to the office from the bar, Bastard wrote down the phone number on the FE 999 billboard. The number, and he dialed it as soon as he reassumed his seat in his chair after entering the building, ascending the escalator wing shaft to the 33rd floor, passing down the hallway, click, clack, rounds, shoes, sole, linoleum floor, unlocking his front office door, and walking through the waiting room, unlocking his private office door, entering the room, and getting behind his desk. Thank you for calling Free Enterprise 999. If you know your party's extension, please dial it now. If you are calling to claim your free chance to win a lifetime supply to your choice of PD equals T replacements, press 1 now. If you are calling regarding our new Rent Your Brain offer, please press 2 now. If you are calling to reach our licensed pharmaceutical distribution center, press 3 now. If you are calling to register a compliment, just press 4. For employment opportunities, please press 5. If you are calling regarding any legal issues, just hang the fuck up now. To hear your options again, please hang up and press the redial key on your telephone touchpad, and you may experience deja vu. Bastard hung up the phone and thought about the options that had just been presented. He rolled a cigarette, smoked it, took a nip from his flask, and, after having considered the situation and calculating the best approach, decided to call again from a payphone out on the street, where he dialed the number again. The pre-recorded message had changed. If you're calling regarding our Rent Your Brain program, this offer has expired. The rest was the same. He pressed 3 and a woman's voice answered. Free Enterprise 999, Licensed Pharmaceutical Distribution Center. My name is Chris. How may I help you today? I'd like to place an order for a gross Dilaudid. Certainly, sir. Your Lifehouse number, please? He gave her his digits. Thank you. Your voice has been deducted the sum of 49 and 7 balls. You will also receive, 100% complimentary of course, a 90-second meatball rebate with your purchase, valid at participating Interplanetary Scuba Diving Incorporated underwater restaurants, hotels, spas, baths, torture chambers, and pits of doom. Thank you for calling Free Enterprise 999 and have a happy day. Wait a second, Chris? He had to do something. No, it's Chris. Yes? Do you like your job, bastard? I'm afraid I'm not qualified to answer that question. Happy day. No. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm looking for work, that's all. I'm afraid we're not hiring, sir, but if you'd like, you may leave a message with our employment center. Thanks, but no thanks. I want to talk to you. Bastard decided to take a chance. Can I see you? Silence. Longer. More silence. Then, meet me at the Brain Liver Cafe at 15. That's when and where I take my afternoon supplements. He was surprised that she agreed, and he hung up the phone without saying goodbye. Back in his office, he fixed up and and slowly sipped several scotches to pass the next circle until the time she said she would eat him, minus the 9-point stitches to allow him the proper temporal length to scuttle to the restaurant. Yes, she drank from her glass. Bastard joined her, drinking from her glass. Then she proceeded to divulge. She couldn't say no. I hope I'm doing the right thing. You are correct. For generations, I've wanted nothing more than to be in the organization. I will take the risk, comforted by the fact that if I am committing a grave mistake, I should prefer death over living with the consequences of having screwed up the good name of the organization. She was good. The organization's dossier on Chrysanthemum and Falacor failed to do justice to her strength of character and resolve. Here's the deal. FE999 takes over a person's mind for a week. We tempt them with balls, they call us. Then we schedule a medical exam in which the subject is drugged, at which point we surgically implant a microscopic set of neo-neurological receptors designed to respond to various chemical compositions created and manufactured by our team of pharmacologists, configured in such a way as to seem to the brain as a natural and absolute necessity of life. The subject is revived with no awareness of the surgery, the implant, the drugging, or the reviving. We pay them, whatever the advertised fee they sell, and schedule another appointment at the end of the week period, which serves no purpose but to comfort the subject with false appearances of thoroughness and professionalism, as well as to provide the illusion of completion, our research over their part played, goodbye and thank you, and so on. During the week, the subject are to do whatever it is they normally do. We assure them that nothing about our research interferes with their daily lives, and sometimes go so far as to suggest that we collect more accurate data if they go about their days as routinely as possible. Meanwhile, they're already hooked, and they have no idea, and we determine their addictions. Obviously, we don't take the receptors out. Not that it matters, the patients don't even know they're there. As soon as the surgical deposit is made, we are ready to transmit commercial neurological radio waves to the subject indefinitely. You get it, not just the advertised week, as long as they fucking want to. These transmissions are designed to target and simulate the implanted neurological receptors, which then communicate with the patient's mind to produce the desired effect, typically overpowering euphoria of blissful analgesics. By careful engineering of both waves and receptors, we can generate the strongest sensations and initiate addictive neurological activity with no physical substance introduction. Within just over a week, the subjects are addicted, fully dependent on a drug they've never taken before. At this point, we cease the individual's transmissions. Shortly thereafter, when they get sick and can't understand why, they go see a doctor. We ensure that they see one of our doctors who evaluates their condition and prescribes them one of the drugs that our licensed pharmaceutical distribution center handles. Whatever we had targeted them with, whatever we had planned on selling them later. So you see, normal people with normal lives who would never touch any drugs become dependent, dependable customers. Demand for our product is never an issue. Another thing we do is transmit specific consumer impulses. We have a company called Weber, a Saxon sales analysis consultants, which guarantees to exponentially boost a company's sales for an exorbitant fee, of course. Various businesses, retail conglomerates, I can pronounce the word conglomerates, high-end, high-culture designers, entertainment, technology ventures, contact WWWNS, which confidently assures them profit increases beyond their wildest dreams. We have total control of these people's minds, after all. So yeah, we make even more money doing that. Transmitting consumer impulses, urging our patients to purchase whatever our client wishes to sell. This tributary of FE999 has almost equaled the profits of the Rent Your Brain Pharmacy River, nearly doubling the company's earnings. Anyway, we've had extraordinary success with both. Bastard, I must admit, it's very clever. But who's behind it?